It's trash day, I'm putting you out, it's trash day. Putting you out, it's trash day. Putting you out of my mind. It's trash day, I'm putting you out, it's trash day. I'm putting you out, trash day, I'm putting you out of my mind. Now I'm gonna clean up, now I'm gonna clean up, now I'm gonna clean up the house. I'm taking all your garbage, taking all your garbage, taking all your garbage.
It starts with some beer, so you shouldn't have fear. Two garbage guys with facts, but they both still have tact. It's that time at last for the best damn podcast. It's Can Crusher Day!
And welcome to a special edition of Can Crushers, the Year in Review. I'm your host, Mark Martinez. Alongside me in studio is Gary Gnu, Chad Piranha. On the interwebs, we have IRS.
How's it going?
And the English professor.
Hey, hello everybody. Hey, very quickly, IRS, I don't know if you've noticed, but this winter in New York City has been very cold.
Yes, it has been, and I'm liking it, I must say.
Yeah, I'm okay with the cold weather in New York this time of year.
Yeah, well, CJ Crone just went to the Tigers, and so did Jonathan Scope. So it's a wrestling podcast.
Sorry, okay. All right, I just wanted to get that out of the way. I've had that at the tip of my tongue all week, thinking I was going to sound smart.
And I think you sounded smart, so
thank you.
Good on you.
It was great. Great.
I'll just say you were both thinking. That'll work.
Nice. All right.
As you were.
All right. So the four of us came together and thought, hey, you see wrestling awards across, and we're not going to focus just on WWE. We're not going to focus on just. I have a conglomerate of everybody in my list. So it's not like the Meltzer Awards. It's going to be. It's what we think is going to win. It could be for any reason. Chad's got a effing autobiography right in front of me that is like War and Peace. So he's going to have long explanations. I have no idea what John and Soup have. And I'm probably just going to steal a lot of you guys's. So, are we good?
I think so.
I'm good.
We're good.
All right, so let's start this off. Do you guys want to say anything else random?
Nope, I don't.
Let's go. Award show. Let's move it.
Oh, wow, kicking it up. All right, so let's start with the return of the year. We're doing these backwards just because I like to. Return of the year, and let's start with Chad. Who's your top three?
See, I kind of went a little bit of a different direction for my winner. I went with the Rock and Roll Express. Return to national prominence, 9-time NWA champions, teaching the guys helping run NWA is my winner. It was honestly really hard for me between the top three, but the first runner-up, Tommaso Ciampa in War Games, his input in War Games, it was like he was never gone.
Wow.
He just picked it up that much. Runner-up number 2, local, got to go with Jack Pollock. Returning to IWC and winning the IWC title after he was supposed to have been out a year with his knee injury.
Three great ones. I like those. I like the Pollock one for sure. Ciampa, you knew he was going to come back, and I like the spin that you did with the Rock and Roll Express. So I think we'll see them again here in the near future. Soup, what do you got?
My list, my second runner-up, I'm going to give it to Batista. The match that he had with Triple H at WrestleMania wasn't good, in my opinion, but the way he came back stuck out to me. Him dragging Ric Flair out in the locker room, getting in the camera's face, that stuck out to me. Granted, the match wasn't that great. That's why I got him as the second runner-up. First runner-up, I'm going to say Bray Wyatt, bringing the Fiend character. He was off TV for a while, and he brought that Fiend character out, and he's been one of the hottest things in wrestling this year with that character. But number one, I got to give it to my boy. Granted, he hasn't wrestled, but he's back in the wrestling business. CM Punk coming on FS1 on the backstage show, That's my favorite return, I must say.
I like that, and again, I think you're going to see CM Punk bounce around actually in the ring real soon, and I like your list. John, what do you got?
All right, mine is somewhat similar to Chad's. Second runner-up, I have Jimmy Nuts. He was gone for a few years, and he came back. So I have him as the second runner-up. That was a pretty inspirational story. Congratulations to him for coming back to IWC. First runner-up, I agree with Chad. I have Tommaso Ciampa coming back from a pretty serious neck injury. That was a scary moment. And number one, you guys are just drinking the haterade. Come on, guys. Roman Reigns came back from leukemia.
That is a great story. That is a great story.
Everybody has one of mine on the list, but you guys don't have my number one. I had number 3 as CM Punk. My number 2 is Roman Reigns coming back from cancer, but I'm actually disappointed in all of you because there's somebody from IWC that came back after all these are life-threatening, but Sean Phoenix's return after a broken skull and leaking fluid and not being able to hear, not being able to walk, the list of things, you go back and listen to his podcast that we talked to him with, but to be able to come back and wrestle, walk, do anything, Sean Phoenix is hands down winner. You guys all got that wrong.
See, I would think that would be more, and this is just something looking back on our awards, that could be the Roman Reigns, Sean Phoenix inspirational wrestler of the year.
Next year we'll have Inspiration Award.
I think would be a good one for them.
Yeah, those are good picks. Those are good picks that I missed.
Yeah. All right, so that's the return of the year. So let's go to one, we're garbage men. So the trashiest moments of the year. And this could go on and on and on. So let's start with the English professor on this one.
All right, second runner-up of the trashiest moment of the year, Brock Lesnar defeats Kofi Kingston for the WWE title faster than King Kong Bundy beat Steve Jones. And hasn't been on TV since. So to hell with Brock Lesnar. First runner-up in the trashiest moment of the year, Miz, Maurice, and Baby. Stupid angle, just call the freaking cops. You're going to let the guy sneak into your house and mess with your 2-year-old baby. It's just ridiculous. And the fact that they put the baby through this nonsense just wasn't necessary. Number one, trashiest moment of the year, Lana, Rusev, and Bobby Lashley.
Chad throws his hands up in disappointment because I think that was his.
No, total agreement.
Yeah.
Total agreement by far.
Soup, what do you got?
Let's see, my second runner-up for this, I'm going to give it to the referee stoppage at Hell in a Cell. How does a Hell in a Cell match end in a referee stoppage? That's my question. It's called Hell in a Cell because anything goes. So that was a little trashy to me. My first runner-up, very disappointed at this, Undertaker versus Goldberg at one of the Saudi shows. Granted, yeah, they're both old, but, to live up to that hype that they build up for that, horrible match in my opinion. And then number one, I also have Rusev and Lana and Lashley. That first night when that storyline kept coming out, I was intrigued, but since it's just been a shit show. It's been trash, to put it easy.
I'll jump in and run through those. Undertaker Goldberg was my second. I had soups. I legit had soups, just in different order. The Bray Wyatt stoppage at Hell in a Cell pisses me off to this day. You'll see that I don't have any pay-per-views on pay-per-view of the year from WWE. And if it's not a landslide with this divorce bullshit, I don't know what Chad's thinking. He's already thrown his hands up in the air, but this is pure hot mess.
Yeah, I'll just throw out the number one winner, the Lana Rusev thing. It's trash. This is a way for Vince to get his rocks off, and we're not Jerry Springer. We're wrestling fans. Get away from this shit. Runner-up number two, I'm going with the whole WWE TLC pay-per-view. It sucked from beginning to end.
You watched it.
And I watched it just because I was like, there has to be something happen with this train wreck, no. The best thing about that pay-per-view was it ending.
Nice.
I give it. Buddy Murphy and Black was a decent match.
Buddy
I watched
Murphy and
that
Black is a great match.
Turned
I'm
it
with you,
off
Steve.
because I agree that was a bad pay-per-view though.
I would say that I agree. I wish they would have had more time, and maybe it might have been enough to sway my view on the pay-per-view, but I think the overall pay-per-view,
Trash.
The number, and the Lana Rusev one, for me, was real close with my number one runner-up, and that's the incident from Ring of Honor with Bully Ray, the fan calling the females whatever, Bully Ray taking them in the back and scaring the shit out of them.
Yeah, that's trashy on Bully Ray.
Everything. I think that's trashy on him, on Bully Ray, but I also got to put some of the blame with ROH, because to me, if he did something like that and he's an employee of mine, he's out of there. You're threatening the people that pay your paychecks.
Yeah. That's a good
I thought that was a horrible one.
That's a good one. Other ones that I was thinking about when Enzo and Cass showed up at one of the pay-per-views and did their shtick, but they weren't really involved. They're just Enzo and Cass in general is trash. So yeah, they just wanted to bring their name up because they haven't been brought up on the show for a while, more or less. He's got his freaking certified G shirt on too. What a douchebag!
Nice.
I almost wore my Cup of Haters shirt. That would have been more fitting.
It would be. All
I
right.
miss those guys. Anyway, that's just me.
Why? They're trash.
Yeah.
The best part about them was Carmella.
Well, yeah.
So
She's still going. Yeah. All right, so the holy crap moment of the year, or whatever, the holy hell moment, I don't know what I called it. I'm not looking at my phone right now. Let's start with the English professor this time.
Yeah, okay. By the way, as we go on, you're going to see, listeners, what kind of a mark I really am and how Chad and I really are at opposite ends of the spectrum here in a lot of ways. That's okay. That's what makes this show great. You get it all from us. Anyway, holy hell, moment of the year, second
I have no idea what he's talking about. He's going to throw you under the bus, apparently.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not throwing Chad under the bus. We have difference of opinions because I enjoyed the pay-per-view. You're going to see why later with some of my choices. But anyway, on to the holy hell moment of the year. Second runner-up, Nick Aldis accidentally clotheslines Camille. They've shown it bunches and bunches of times, and it still shocks me. First runner-up for holy hell moment of the year, Dakota Kai turns on her War Games team. Blew my freaking mind. And while we're on the topic of that pay-per-view, the holy hell moment of the year, Tommaso Ciampa corkscrewing Adam Cole off the top of the War Games cage through a table. That was petrifying. Lives could have been lost in that move.
That
blew my mind.
You just pissed Chad off again.
I know I would.
Again. So I'm going to go right over to him, and Soup can wait.
Runner-up number 2, you've seen it on NXT, was when Keith Lee shoulder blocked Adam Cole from the ramp into the fans. If you guys haven't seen that, oh my God, it looked like a Prius bouncing off of a tractor trailer, and Adam Cole sold it so well. Runner-up number 1, Bayley winning the Money in the Bank and cashing it in to beat Charlotte. To me, was like, what? Okay, they got something in the works. Because when do you ever see Charlotte, minus the whole, hey, you got the title, no, I got the title, with Sasha losing something like that? You'd never see it like that. And then I agree with John. At the War Games, Ciampa putting Cole through that move could have ended bad for everybody. But it just goes to show the professionals that they are.
Yeah, for sure. Great list. Soup, what you got?
My second runner-up is Brock Lesnar destroying Rey Mysterio and his son. That night was supposed to lead off to Rey Mysterio facing Rollins for the Universal title. That starts the storyline where we ended up getting a decent Lesnar-Mysterio match for the WWE title. So that was kind of crazy how he destroyed Dominic, in my opinion. My first runner-up, I got to give it to Keith Lee launching Adam Cole into the fans. That made my jaw drop seeing that, you know. I'm sure all the guys in the crowd were, you know, put there by WWE, but still the visual of that, like Chad said, it looked like a Prius bouncing off an 18-wheeler. But then my number one holy hell moment, I'm giving this guy his second award of the night, CM Punk. I didn't think it would happen this soon, that he'd be back around WWE. I might be biased that he's my favorite guy. We share the same birthday, but I'm going to give him his second award tonight.
Wow. What if people are listening during the day? Is it all right that you give him an award during the day and not tonight?
Yeah, I don't even know why I said tonight. It's 2 o'clock. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Right? That's all right. That's all right. I'm going to
award shows are normally at night. I don't know.
Yeah,
right,
you're right. They are.
Yeah, sorry, I won't publish this until late and tomorrow. My number 3 was CM Punk returning. Everything, I completely agree. You know, it was jaw dropping. Number 2 was Johnny Patch's Coast to Coast on Cage Fury, which you can see on IWC Network for only $9.99 a month. You know, check that out. And on that same network, you can see me pushing women, children, and anybody else over because my holy moment of the year was the return of Jimmy Nuts. I literally pushed people over to be the first one to give them a high five. I'm a child.
Yeah, I had a gash on my forehead from bouncing off the barricade that night, but that was a good moment.
Jason Still's getting his hip replaced, right?
I think so. Yeah, I haven't seen him in a few months. I think he's at home.
So, nice. All right, we're rifling through these faster than I thought we were gonna. How about pay-per-view of the year? And let's start with you, Soup, since you just talked.
All right, my second runner-up, I'm going to give it to IWC, the Pittsburgh Pro Wrestling Classic Part 2. What a way to end the year. They had a big year for sure for an independent company, and in my opinion, every match on that card had a good storyline going into it, or if it didn't, there was a good storyline coming out of it. So I was very impressed. 2020 is going to look like a big year for IWC. My first runner-up, I'm going to give it to WWE. I think Survivor Series ended up being a great pay-per-view. You have matches like Roderick Strong, AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. The stories between the elimination matches were good. You had 3 good title matches, Wyatt and Bryan, Lesnar and Mysterio, and Cole and Pete Dunne. And then the main event between Becky Bailey and Shawn and Baszler, I think was pretty good. And it started NXT. You saw lately they're doing good in the ratings right around that time. So I'm going to give it to that. But then my number 1 is Double or Nothing for AEW. That's right around the time where this all was kicking in, all the hype, and I think they had a good first show. Granted, currently they're in a little state of, boringness to an effect, but that first kickoff, that pay-per-view, Double or Nothing, I think that was a great show and brought a lot of spark back into the wrestling business.
Yeah, I'm shocked that you have Survivor Series on there. You know, it was good, and we are ones that say we're not huge triple threat, type of fans and everything because that whole pay-per-view was triple threat. But I'm just shocked that you had Survivor Series on there. The other two, without a doubt, I completely agree. Yeah. So, Chad, what do you got?
My number 2 runner-up, I have the NXT TakeOver of the War Games. Just brutal. It took me back to the actual War Games matches when they first come out. They used the rings. They used, the space between the rings. They used the cage. It just took me back. I thought that was an excellent pay-per-view. Number 1 runner-up, kind of partial here, was the Crockett Cup. it brought old school back. And as we see, they're still doing good, but they brought the old school feel back. And that pay-per-view, I don't know. That just has a big heart. That reminds me of when I was a kid.
Yeah, us being down there, being actually at the pay-per-view was pretty important itself. That was pretty cool, just to actually experience the old school. Looking forward to going down again this year. It's an event. It really is, and the NWA doing it right. Sorry, go ahead.
And the number one, I'll wait till Mark's done drinking here so he doesn't spit it out. My favorite was the Survivor Series.
What?
I think they and look, okay, granted, we, like you said, the triple threats, it's overdone and everything, but they did this right. They did every match right. The people who should have won and were featured, the NXT, were won and featured. The matches were all good.
I agree, but I don't think it's a new year. You guys are ridiculous.
I still like the women's match was my favorite match off of that pay-per-view.
All right. Well, John, what do you have? Get me on this. If you say Survivor Series, I'm going to be pissed.
All right. So, pay-per-view of the year, second runner-up. I really, really enjoyed the latest AEW pay-per-view Full Gear. I thought Omega versus Moxley was just sickeningly brutal. Seeing Cody take the header, flying over the top rope and just smacking his face. It's like when you're a kid and you fall off your bike. That was brutal. The whole thing, start to finish. Thoroughly enjoyed it. First runner-up, here's the hat trick for you, Mark. The Survivor Series.
You gotta be freaking kidding me. Unbelievable!
All the reasons the guy said. The only reason it wasn't number one for me was because the drama was gone by the time the last match rolled around. I recently watched, what was it? The pay-per-view from December '88 with the round-robin tournament. Sting, Flair, Luger, and Muta. They had a way that everybody beat somebody somehow for the most part, but it's still... you didn't know who was going to win until the night was over when they tallied the points. I think WWE should have done something like that with Survivor Series, because by the time the last match rolled around, you knew Raw couldn't win. I think maybe SmackDown's chances were slim. NXT just kicked ass. So the drama was kind of gone by the time the last couple of matches rolled around. With that being said, it's still my first run-up because I thought all the matches were quality. And then pay-per-view of the year, I referenced it earlier due to the holy hell moment of the year. NXT War Games. I mean, the surprises, Kevin Owens, Dakota Kai, Tommaso Ciampa, Britt Baker, seeing her in the crowd.
Yeah, controversy.
What an awesome show. What an awesome event. That, to me, was the best pay-per-view of the year.
All right, again, I have nothing. I will continue to say this. I have nothing from WWE on pay-per-view of the year. And... number 3, my second runner-up, is about nostalgia. Having their official first pay-per-view. We rated it last week at like a 4.5 stars. So it's just bringing back everything in the NWA, putting NWA into the fire on there already. It just, to bring NWA back, it means a lot to me. That's actually where I'm just stuck on old school wrestling. So that's my number 3. Number 2, because of Cody and Dustin, Double or Nothing was unbelievable. And it's, again, that storyline that they had of fighting, needing to be brothers, the whole thing, you're going to see that match roll around here again real soon. But that's why Double or Nothing is there. And like Chad, my number 1... once they said the Crockett Cup was coming back, we marked out. The Crockett Cup is, it's like, the Royal Rumble is my favorite stipulation match. Well, the Crockett Cup's my favorite tournament. Even over Mae Young or anything else, the 2-day Crockett Cup is just unbelievable. It lasted 2 years when we were kids, and 3 years when we were kids, and hopefully it lasts much longer now with Billy Corgan and those guys. So my pay-per-view of the year is the Crockett Cup.
I think this year it's going to pull in more tag
millions and millions.
I think it's going to grow larger. If it's less than 24 teams this year, I'd be surprised. And I think they're going to do it at a 2-day event. I just have the feeling it's going to be a 2-day event.
That's great. I love Concord, North Carolina.
Beautiful area.
I love the food down there. It was unbelievable. If you two jackasses want to ride along in the Juke, you're more than welcome. It's great.
You need a bigger car.
Well, maybe I'll shuttle a bus.
Mark, I listened to Bully Ray's show, and one of the guys on the show, I don't know his name, but he gave huge props to the NWA pay-per-view, and it was his favorite of the year. So good job pulling that one out of your hat.
Yeah, and Hard Times is coming up in January. It's a Friday night. It's a Friday night pay-per-view for NWA, and if you buy it now, it's $14.99. Get on Fight TV and buy it. I drank more, I pissed more away last night than that pay-per-view is. It's unbelievable how effed up I got last night again. Christmas party. All right, let's go to match of the year. And I don't know, does anybody want to go first?
You go first.
I don't. I'm the host.
Go first.
Nope. Go ahead, Sue.
All right, my second runner-up for match of the year, I'm going to give it to Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. The build of Kofi Mania. Bryan's a good heel, and for it all to cap off with Kofi getting that win on the biggest stage, I thought that was a great story and ended with a great match. My first runner-up, I'm going to give it to the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks. The ladder match is all out. Listen to me here. Normally, yeah, those tag matches are real spotty. This one was really spotty, but it made sense because of, being a ladder match, it was a tornado tag. I don't like the normal tag team matches being crazy like that. But some of those spots, the Canadian Destroyer off the ladder into the table is going to live on forever. But I thought that was a great match. But my number one match of the year, I'm going to give it to another AEW match between Cody and Dustin Rhodes. The storyline, the promo at the end, I thought it was great. Their dad would have loved it, and all of us fans loved it. So I think that was the best match this year.
English professor, what does your list look like?
All right, match of the year, second runner-up, Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch versus Bayley from the Survivor Series. One of the reasons the Survivor Series was one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year. These ladies did an awesome job. There was a clean finish at the end with Shayna Baszler showing her dominance. Last week, I kind of poo-pooed on TLC and said I'd rather watch the Steelers and Bills. I am glad I tuned in to TLC because my first runner-up for match of the year, Charlotte and Becky versus the Kabuki Warriors in the TLC match. Let me explain. As soon as you guys are done, I'll wait for the classroom to come to order.
Chad just threw up. Go ahead.
All right, go to the nurse's office, Chad. So, again, listening to Bully Ray's show, he hated the booking of the match, and I agree. He said, where was the drama? Where is trying to climb the ladders? Where was it trying to win? Why are Charlotte and Becky just standing there while one of the Kabuki Warriors hit herself in the face with a chair? I agree. I agree. Why was there no miss? He would have had Charlotte get, miss spit in the face at the top of the ladder. They missed opportunities for drama. But what these ladies did for me, they did new stuff, innovative stuff. Becky got tied to a ladder. Charlotte kind of got like Adam West, Burt Ward, Batman and Robin tied to a chair, but with a stick. They did a thing where they took, not Asuka, help me out here.
Kairi Sane.
They played catch with Kairi Sane from one table to another. And she was out. Bully Ray says she was out for much of that match. She still kept going. Charlotte deadlifted her to powerbomb her. They beat the living shit out of each other. And that's why I love that match. Even if the story wasn't what it could have been 5 stars, I will still say it was about 4 to 4.5 stars.
Wow.
And again, here I am, being the mark that I am, match of the year, Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley. It nauseated me, it sickened me, and there was great drama. So that's why I think it was just that much better than the women's tag team match.
I'm shocked that you're so heavy. I know you love AE-dubs, and we all do sitting at this table, but I'm shocked that you're giving so much props right off the bat. And I know you sent me messages that night saying you were tearing your eyes out. It's unbelievable. You just couldn't handle the whole Moxley and Omega thing. So I was shocked that you went this way.
Yeah, it was shock. You know, it made me physically ill, and it was a great performance. I'm not going to hate it just because I couldn't handle it.
No, I'm not saying you hated it. I'm just shocked that you put it up there so high, with your poor little stomach.
Yeah, thank you. I never was a huge ECW fan, but I felt the violence in this match made sense.
Would you think about going back and watching any ECW now because you like this match so much? And not cheese grater shit or light bulb.
I would.
Okay. All right, touche.
I would, because I like Shane Douglas, I like Bam Bam Bigelow, and a little bit has always been regretful that I never really appreciated what they did for ECW.
New Jack.
Watch November to Remember, 1997. I'm in the second row, giving the triple threat sign. Second row, I'm there.
All right, I'll watch that this weekend.
It was in Monaca. It was awesome. Great. That's the first one you need to watch.
All right.
Who didn't go besides me? You.
I didn't go.
Chad.
Oh, I'll say, John, the Kabuki Warriors, Becky Lynch and Charlotte match, what I didn't like about it is it's like you said, they missed some opportunities at drama. They were inventive in some things, but I really think the Kabuki Warriors were out of their comfort zone and element. And with Kairi Sane's injury with that powerbomb and Becky Lynch rolling her under the ring until she got her wits about her, I just thought it was a little too much for them. It was a little out of their element. Great effort, but it just looked like they were, I don't want to say scared to be doing it, but it looked like they were real stiff, real timid, and that's what led to, some of the injuries. And when's Kairi Sane going to be back? She's been pulled off of shows for the next month now.
Yeah, she's on the shelf. And does that mean the tag titles need to be stripped now from them? I mean, that's all. That's not a storyline. Like, she's legit injured.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right.
Match of the year, runner-up 2. Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano for the NXT title. It was just a showcase of what we would love wrestling to be. There was some shenanigans in there. There was some cheap shots in there, as you would expect, oh my God, a heel to do.
What?
There was the wrestling. There wasn't, the first fall wasn't done in 30 seconds because he poked the guy in the eye and rolled him in a cradle or something stupid like that. They made sense. They took it longer. Absolutely loved the match. Number 1 runner-up, I'm going back to the War Games. Sorry, not Survivor Series.
All right,
the
lucky.
NXT Male War Games match. Again, took me back to what it was when it was first, with Dusty and the Horsemen and everything, and who's going to come in and what's going to, they just made use of everything. Absolutely loved it. The number 1, and this was, for me, the second easiest one of the awards that we're doing, was Nick Aldis and Marty Scurll at Crockett Cup. It was everything in a match that a pro wrestling fan, outside of Kenny Olivier, the young Crux, and Marco Short, or whatever his name is, it's everything that you could want. And I honestly, top 5 matches of all time that I've ever seen.
We said that last week, yeah. My list is a little bit different, but a little bit the same. So if you understand that. My number 3 is actually Wardlow against Josh Alexander at IWC. That match was unfreaking believable. Two big guys doing the shit that they did. IWC Network, $9.99 a month. Go watch it. It was unbelievable. Number 2, the storyline again of Cody and Dustin just goes hand in hand. That match was awesome, and I have to agree with Chad. Some of the stuff that you're seeing now on NWA, it was kind of teased already down at the Crockett Cup with Aldis and Marty Scurll. That big clothesline, John, that you saw on Camille, that happened down at the Crockett Cup. Now they just rehashed it again. So just kind of like some behind-the-scenes thing there. But, yeah, Chad pinpointed that everything. Everything you wanted in a match was in that match. So one of my favorites. 1 and 2 were just holding hands together. I'm telling you that. The whole Cody Dustin one as well. So anything else on this subject? Nope. Okay.
No.
I'm going to throw one in that you guys didn't have on the list, and you knew this was going to happen. And I only want your top one, all right? Only your top one. Referee of the year, because they don't get enough props, but they do so much behind the scenes. Sue?
You caught me off guard here. As much as we like CJ at IWC, I'm going to give it to Aubrey Edwards, the female referee at AEW. Good facials. She gets intrigued in the match. I love when her and Jericho go at it. She doesn't put up with bullshit. Put the explicit on this. I'm sorry. But yeah, she stood out to me this year. That's for sure.
Yeah, Chad?
I'm going to go nostalgia, go back down to the Crockett Cup. And of all ones, I'm going to say Tommy Young. Before the match, he wasn't the in-ring referee, but he got in there and he did the spiel. This is NWA. We wrestle, everything. Before the match, he was doing what you don't see. Find me a match where you see a referee going, checking every turnbuckle, seeing how they are, checking the mat, everything, the old school stuff. And then he was involved in kicking Camille out of ringside, but it was just so cool to see.
It was done perfect.
Somebody that, as a referee, oh my God, back in the 80s, I hated.
Right.
Because he seemed to be, blind as a bat.
Wow.
And
him and Danny Davis.
Yeah. But it was just really cool, that the nostalgia effect in him doing what's missing today.
John, I know where you're going already. I know who you're going to say.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right, I was going to say either Nick Patrick or Tommy Young. No, I'm just being funny.
Bobby from IWC?
No.
Go ahead. Tell me who I'm thinking then.
Jennifer Carr.
Is she from NXT?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I was going to say the woman from NXT because I don't know her name, but yes, thank you.
I knew. You have an infatuation with her.
I do. If I were to have a first runner-up, though, I'd agree with Sue for all those reasons. I think they're both very similar. That they don't take their eyes off the action. They're very good at missing things the right way. Like when a referee's back is turned forever and everybody hears what's going on, that's annoying. But they are so good at turning away, for just a moment and then missing what they missed. You almost can't fault them. Do you know what I mean? They do a good job of innocently missing something when they're supposed to.
Yeah. Bobby's trash. CJ we love because he's CJ, but for everything John and Soup has just said, and it's the Bostic matches. Anytime Bostic is in the ring, CJ is out in left field. Like, a train drives by, and he's the only one not hearing it. So, I can't give CJ the award. I have to actually jump on board with Soup, since it's this year. I think Aubrey is far and away one of the best referees out there. I'll tell you who I don't like from AEW. That guy that when he counts, he gets on his tiptoes each fucking time. Sorry, there it is.
Is that Bryce Remsburg?
Yeah, whoever. I don't know who he is, but he annoys the piss out of me.
Is that the one that broke his leg jumping
I think
at the beginning of
the bald guy. He looked like your brother.
He broke his leg jumping over them. Damn.
I think Marco Stunt might be as tall as him too. Like he's short too.
Well, at least he can count his kneecaps down.
Right. But you know what he does? Like, whoa! And then he holds it up in the air. Yeah, he's God. All right. So that's just a bonus one. How about we do Breakout Star of the Year? And you know what? I'll actually start on this one. I will. What the hell? Breakout Star of the Year, Max the Impaler, the OVW Women's Heavyweight Champion. Max has just been destroying it on the indies. If she doesn't get scooped up for a little bit of a contract by Impact since they're partners, I'd be shocked if she doesn't make her way to AEW or, one of the big brands real quick, because she's got the look of, oh God, the Barbarian, and she moves like Bam Bam. I mean, she's a bigger woman, but damn, she can move. Breakout Star number 2, the runner-up is Mandime. Mandime has just blown up this year.
Oh, he's blown all right.
Mandime has just blown up this year. 2020 is going to do a lot for him. Joining Team Big League now in IWC. His future is bright.
Yeah, he might actually win.
Real quick, Dime Piece. If you're listening, hit up my DMs on Instagram. I'm at KingSoup222. I'm here for you when you realize that the piece of trash you're with is piece of trash.
Before I get to number 1, you really are going to get punched in the face. Like, he legit hates you. Like, outright. Like, when we were
Just
recording...
Like Johnny Patch, I think, his receding hairline must hate mine and Patch's long flowing hair, I'm going to say. But Dime Piece.
Wow. It's getting hot. And my number 1 Breakout Star of the Year is MJF. The guy is white hot, straight lightning, unbelievable. Anything you want to say. He's just that damn good right now. And he's going to carry AEW for a while. What do you think, John?
For the second runner-up, I cannot stand this guy. He's everything I hate about wrestling, but nobody knew his name 2 months ago. Second runner-up, Humberto Carrillo. Guy's been teaming up with Rey Mysterio.
He pisses me off. He
pisses me off too, but
yeah.
he pisses me off too. But you know what? He's made a name for himself in a short amount of time. First runner-up, I have to go with Andrade. Even though he's been around for a little while, I think he's really broken out this year. I love...
Yeah, now that he's sleeping with Flair, of course he's broken out this year.
That doesn't hurt.
And he's probably going to be breaking out with a lot more things.
Oh, my God. Sorry, go ahead.
Vicious. It's all right. I love the 3 suplexes. I know it's a shout-out to Eddie Guerrero, but during the course of the match, he's mocking Eddie. It draws boos. I love what he does. And then the number 1 breakout star of the year, I'm going with NWA's Thunder Rosa. I know she has been around a while. The NWA, I know, goes back to before the Revolutionary War. And
it does.
Frank Dodge in 1905. I get it. But for a company that's sort of rebooted in the last 11 months, I and maybe some others find ourselves sometimes searching for names or trying to place a face with a name or who's that guy or who is she. From day one, something about her, whether it's her look, her style, her name, I remember who she is.
I told you from day one when I was watching her on some of the Indies matches, I said, you gotta see her. You'd think I just sit behind this computer and just watch wrestling and don't actually put time in. She's unbelievable. She's going to carry that division. As much as you love Allison Kay, Rosa's going to carry that division for a long time in the NWA.
Yeah, I agree.
Chad?
Runner-up number 2. you'll notice a theme with all three of these. Tessa Blanchard. Yes, she's been around for a couple of years, but she just seems this year to really have broken out. Unfortunately, being with Impact or whatever it is, Global
Impact.
Yeah, this week. And I think she made Sami Callihan look a lot better than he is. But I just think that she's the best women's wrestler in women's wrestling, period. The number one runner-up, this one's going to come out of left field, Davey Boy Smith Jr. His matches in MLW have really shown that he is more of a complete wrestler
Than a couple years ago. Yeah.
than when he, when in WWE he was just kind of a bulky jerk and everything, but he can actually, ground wrestle and do the power things.
And he could probably read, unlike Bulk Nasty.
Yes, yes. And the number one, the breakout, there's just no doubt to me, Adam Cole. He has done everything in NXT that there is to do. First North American champion, tag team champion, the NXT champion. He's faced everybody. And more importantly, he's a, quote, little guy in Vince's big guy world that has done this. And to me, he's just broken away from everybody.
That's a great list. Soup.
All right, my second runner-up is going to be an IWC member, Test Tube Baby. No, I'm just kidding.
That was really breaking out.
My boy, the American Daredevil, the Super Indie champion, Johnny Patch, ended 2018 winning the Battle Royal, went in teaming with Glacier, battling with Mandime, winning the Super Indie title, the Coast to Coast in the cage match. He's making his name go out there. I wish him all the best here in 2020. My first runner-up, I'm going to give it to MJF. Even when he would come out and the fans would be cheering for him, he still made you hate him. He's a great heel nowadays, and now with him and Cody, he's definitely going to blow up, I think, for sure. And number one, I'm going to give it to another AEW guy, Darby Allin. I heard the name at the start of this year, never saw any of his work. He's a little crazy in his own right, too, not just Moxley, not just Janela. He's got some crazy stuff, and his look is unique. You can't go to an AEW show without seeing one person with half their face painted like a skeleton anymore. I think he could be a big star as well.
All right, let's rifle over to the... this one was added late by the English professor. He's like, hey, let's add women's tag team. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Some people sitting next to me at this table named Chad, won't name names, are like, what the are you talking about? So we'll start with the English professor. Women's tag team of the year.
All right, before I get to the women's tag team, did you guys notice all my breakout stars of the year were Mexican? Not that matters, not that it has anything to do with anything. I didn't plan it that way. It just kind of worked out that way.
You're finally giving me props, so I'm happy about that.
Finally, yeah. Okay, anyway, on to the women's tag team of the year. Second runner-up. The Iconics.
This is the only, wait a minute. This is the only reason why he wanted to have Women of the Year, so he could do their theme songs then. That's it. I found it out. It was it. Damn it. All right, go ahead.
Thanks. That's the only one I'm going to do, I promise. No, the Iconics are very good. I think their tag team title reign wasn't long enough. I think they're great heels. Speaking of title reigns not being long enough, Sasha and Bayley are my number one runner-up team. And then the women's tag team of the year, the Kabuki Warriors. They are great heels. They are very, very good in the ring. They've got great charisma, personalities. I love that they speak Japanese and don't give a rat's ass if anybody understands what they're saying. They sprinkle in just enough English. Their body language is very funny, the way they communicate with each other, the way they were beating up on Becky and Charlotte and kind of mocking them at the same time. I just love everything the Kabuki Warriors do.
We'll switch right over to Chad because he's got a list. Not happy about this subject.
Oh, and I give the ladies their props. There's fine athletes, but this is something that, with the women's tag team being pushed by WWE, by Vince initially, I just don't think it's developed enough. But with that said, number 2 runner-up is the female NXT team that won at War Games. Or I'm sorry, yes, at War Games. Just thought well put together. They showed that they can hang with the guys. Not quite as brutal, which I'm glad that they didn't after the TLC match, but just thought it was overall good. Number 1 runner-up, Sasha and Bayley. They were the first WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, not the first WWF Champions. They meshed really well, I thought. They were 2 individuals that meshed well. They made sense to have them as the first tag team champions. And I agree with John. The Kabuki Warriors as the women's tag team of the year. They gel well. They look good. They don't look like 2 individuals that have no clue what the hell they're doing.
Good point. Good point, Sue.
All right. So, yeah, second runner-up, Sasha and Bayley. You guys said it all. First champs, best friends, make good partners on screen. I like that. My first runner-up, I'm going to give it to 2 women who haven't had a tag match all year. AEW's women's division, has been a little weak in my opinion, but I'm intrigued with Awesome Kong and Brandy. Brandy's the brains, Awesome Kong's the power. I want to see how this Nightmare Collection is going to go.
I thought he was going to say Kong was a beauty.
Go ahead.
And my first winners is also the Kabuki Warriors. Same with you guys. I love since they turned heel. They have that whole dark look to them, and they're great on screen together. And I hope that their tag run keeps going.
So across the board, we're all having the Kabuki Warriors as tag team of the year. That won't happen again.
No.
That won't happen. That's unbelievable. I couldn't agree with all you guys said. My second runner-up is actually from WOW. They're tag team champions. Havoc and Hazard. No, they're the number 1 contenders. But Havoc and Hazard. We saw them a couple years ago to Rise. John, you remember seeing them? Jessica Havoc, the bigger girl, and her.
Yeah.
You love
I
them.
have their autographs. I have my pictures taken with them. I have their autographs. I like them a lot.
Yeah. So they're doing big things over in WOW. And then number 3 is Grits and Glam. OVW's Jessie Bell and Amber O'Neal, 2 country girls. It's Tracy Smothers' kid. As we're on this subject right now, keep Tracy in your thoughts and prayers as he's battling some health issues right now. So, yeah, Grits and Glam, number 3. Moving along, let's roll right into the men's tag team of the year, and we'll start with Chad. I think I know where he's going.
Number 2 runner-up. As much as I disliked the team, I got to say the New Day, because they're always in the title picture. Always. And they are good. I just don't like the gimmick. Number 1 runner-up. This one was hard between this and the winner, but number 1 runner-up, Fish and O'Reilly, NXT Tag Team Champions. They're just flawless. I would hate to see somebody, or I don't think there's anybody in the wrestling business today that flows the way these 2 do together. The number 1, again, this is a no-brainer for me, Rock and Roll Express. 9-time NWA tag team champions.
And they're in their 60s.
And they're in their 60s, and their matches don't look that bad.
Right.
For what, and they can, they're out there, 15, 20-minute matches. They're just the best that there ever was in my book.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback Chad. 1 and 2, are exactly the same. I have the Rock and Roll Express #1. I have the Undisputed Era #2. And my second runner-up is Steak and Eggs from IWC. Let me tell you, they are going to take... I'm going to take over that division. I love them. It's about entertainment, John. It's not about wins or losses. It's Steak and Eggs.
I thought you hated these guys.
You have not been to IWC in 3 months.
Right.
Just Steak and Eggs are great. I'm not talking about Locked and Loaded or the main event or...
Oh, my God, no, I got confused for a second. I was thinking Steaks and Weights.
Oh, no, I would not... No.
Okay.
Heavy machinery.
Is very cool.
Yeah, heavy machinery is what you thought. Heavy machinery. I hate... Yeah, no.
I hope
That's
Bulk...
all
still hate
tag
those guys.
team of the year.
I hope Bulk Nasty hears this and beats your ass at the next match.
I like him, I'm saying. Why would he beat my ass? I'm liking him.
Because you like him teaming with that freaking
Xander?
human Q-tip or whatever the hell he is.
What the hell are you talking about? What Q-tip?
Xander,
He's
Yeah.
great.
all
right, Soup.
Right up there with Charlotte.
IWC Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
IWC Rookie of the Year, Xander Gabriel.
Yeah, I can get behind that. Those are good picks, Mark.
Thank you. All right, Soup, what do you got?
I got basically all the same. Second runner-up, I'm giving it to Rock and Roll Express. At their age, doing what they're doing still, kudos to them. First runner-up, The New Day. For how long they've been together, they're still marketing cash cow for Vince, and they put on some good matches. But yeah, #1, I give it to Undisputed Era. It doesn't matter which 4 you have in there, or if you have all 4 in there. I think, took all the gold in NXT and just, building and building. We'll see where they go from here.
English professor.
2 of my picks are the same as Soup's in the same order as well. Second runner-up at the Rock and Roll Express, for all the reasons he said. First runner-up, nobody here is a fan, but come on, guys, we can't ignore these guys. The Young Bucks are my first runner-up.
I can.
Oh, yeah,
I can turn the
easily.
goddamn channel right off. I can ignore them. I hate them.
And then the Tag Team of the Year, I am with Soup, the Undisputed Era, namely the Tag Team Champions. Those guys, the matches they have are great. Again, their body language is awesome. The way they sell pain, the way they sell victory. I think I compared, can't remember if it was O'Reilly or Fish, to Tully Blanchard, and just the way he celebrates after a win is so douchey. It's great. Those guys they're the best tag team in the year.
All right, so let's roll into the last 2 awards that we have. Female Wrestler of the Year and then Male Wrestler of the Year. Let's start with Soup on this.
For female, I have my second runner-up is Shayna Baszler. She ran the NXT division for over a year, almost 2 solid years as champion, and until just lately where she lost to Rhea Ripley, where I hope next year I might be saying she's the Woman of the Year for 2020. But Shayna, I wish her all the best. Hopefully, I'd like to see her eventually go up to the main roster. Unfortunately, eventually you got to bring Ronda into the mix. But I think she had a great year by herself, Shayna. #2, the first runner-up, I'm going to give it to Bayley. The heel turn, the new look, cashing in Money in the Bank, being a champion. She's looking good. So let's see where she goes for next year. And then #1, I got to give it to the man, Becky. Won the title in the main event at WrestleMania. Has held on to that title ever since. And, she's cooled off a little bit, but still she's out there putting on good matches and helping run that women's revolution that they call it over in WWE.
What do you have, Chad?
#2 runner-up, Bayley. Just like Soup said, the attitude change, the look change, the title, having a title, this reign actually is meaning something with her. Absolutely love it. Number one, runner-up, Becky Lynch. Again, she's kind of took the women's division in WWE on her back a bit. And since WrestleMania, other than the, we got to give Charlotte her rub type deal, Becky's just beaten everybody. She's had good matches with everybody. The number one female wrestler of the year, Tessa Blanchard. Tessa, to me, is the absolute perfect professional wrestler in that she doesn't need a title to be recognized as being as good as she is.
Do you think what she's going through right now with the Brian Cage thing in Impact, we talked to a couple people at WrestleCade that just think, the women and the men should completely be separated all the time. And, Brian Cage is huge. All of us have seen him at IWC. He's a huge man.
Yeah.
To throw in Tessa against him, sometimes the storyline just doesn't look right.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with, the women against the men and, mixed matches and, maybe a screw over thing like what happened in ECW with Bill Alfonso and Tommy Dreamer's wife. I just don't. It's just not realistic because somebody Cage's size would absolutely destroy somebody Tessa's size. I'm sorry. It's just. But
that's actually
Tessa.
Go ahead.
The reason I think that they're doing this is because she is so good at what she does that they're trying to hit new limits with the women's wrestling. They're trying to push. Okay, she dominate everybody in Impact. It goes without saying. So what if she gets into the male? Okay, she's slapping the hell out of their champion. She beat Brian Cage. I think they're trying to take advantage of her popularity
by far
more than they are the talent with her.
Go ahead, John.
Let me just add to that. There's a way, and we've seen it, that you can make men versus women work in a match and make it look realistic. And the only thing where I disagree is if you train it all, and you guys are going to laugh, and I don't care. If you train it all in martial arts, or you go to a dojo, you can see a young woman, half the size of the man she's wrestling, twist them like a pretzel. It does happen. It can happen. And I think if you work an intergender match like that, you guys aren't laughing. I can't believe you guys are.
No, it's true. It makes sense. It makes sense. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. But that's it. No, there's a way you can make that work. And I'm sure there are talented enough men and women's wrestlers out there that can make intergender matches work really well. And we've seen some of them, Mark. You and I have seen some of them live and in living color, as Dusty Rhodes used to say.
Nice.
All right, so go ahead.
And I'm not saying, John, that it's not doable, it's not workable. You brought up a perfect example on how to make it work. But what they're doing with her and the way they're doing it, right. it's not looking right. It's like, Skylo Low beating King Kong Bundy.
Great reference.
That's about what it feels like. And I love Tessa. Absolutely love her and adore her and her work.
I do too.
But it's just, I don't think this is going to be bad for her because people are going to look at the management here, what they were trying to do. They're just trying to take their cash cow and take it as far as they can. But I want to see Tessa get out of Impact. Preferably, I'd love her to go to AEW. I really don't want to see her in WWE because I don't want her to fall like every other star that comes to WWE. Mostly, I'd say 98% of them to where Vince shits on them and just doesn't allow them to be what they can be. And
yeah, Tessa could be the spark that the AEW women's roster needs.
Her and Britt have great matches. Let me just say that. Her and Britt have some great matches. All right, John, go ahead with your list. Yeah.
All right. Second runner-up of the year, female wrestler of the year, Asuka. Even though I included her in the tag team division, I think she's that good. She deserves her own spot in the singles division. Number 1, Shayna Baszler, for the reasons that Soup said, but let me add that in a day and age where we're constantly reminded that what we're watching is entertainment and it's not real, and let's constantly break the fourth wall, and this wrestler fixes cars, and that wrestler's got a PhD, I still don't know what to make of her. She seems like a terrible person to me. I believe everything I see about her. I don't know what else she does. She just is a badass woman who hurts people. She's very, very believable. And then the female wrestler of the year, I kind of agree with Chad, only I didn't pick a Blanchard. I picked a Flair.
Of course.
Woo! Charlotte is female wrestler of the year.
Of course. I saw that coming a mile away. All right, so my 3, I've kind of taken it a different way of what's going on, and you're probably going to go nuts, but
if you say Nyla Rose,
no, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. Ray Lynn is my second runner-up. Legit for what she's been doing for WOW. She's just getting back from China. She's been 2 stints to Japan. She's just out there really selling herself, and she's improved so much over the last few years, and I give her props. I think it's unbelievable what she does. So, and she's local, so I always want to keep somebody local. Number 2, go ahead, Soup, you want to say something?
I was going to say, she has Calvin to help her look great, get her mainstream exposure. So.
Right. My number 2 is Bayley, just for everything you guys have said. The heel turn, just needing that little extra spice when she killed the huggable inflatables. That was awesome. And number 1, I didn't...
The man dime?
No.
The dime piece, I mean?
The dime piece. No.
Man Dime was right.
I didn't want to go with anybody on the top. Becky, because she has cooled off. Tessa, because all the reasons why we said. I think Flair is pushed down your throat. So, I agree. Shayna Baszler, she carried that NXT division, and it just blew up from there. I believe Shayna Baszler more than I believe Rhea Ripley, now that she's a champ. I think she's going to be pushed, and I'm going to hate her. Shayna wasn't pushed. She earned her respect, air quotes, and she just...
That's a good point.
...beat people up. Ripley's already pushed in her face, and it was from the War Games match I started to hate Ripley. So, no, nothing? Good? We're good?
That's a good point. Good point.
Yeah. Those are great picks. I think all 4 of us agreed, maybe at least 3 of us did, about Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
She is awesome, man. And I just want to reiterate what I said. I don't know what to make of her. She just looks like a terrible person that enjoys hurting people. She's
right.
Very believable.
All right, so we're here. We're to the final award of the year. It's the Male Wrestler of the Year. I bet I could guess some of them, but we're just going to go from that. This is big. This is who has carried this torch for wrestling for the year. And let's start with Chad.
Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Runner-up number 2. This was hard for me because I'm a diehard AJ Styles fan, and I bumped AJ from this list after thinking about it for this person. Chris Jericho. I mean, my God, at his age, having the AEW title put on him, running the matches that he has, the storylines. I dare say he's better than he's ever been in his career with his mic work and storyline. Okay, yeah, is he getting a little bit, little bit big around the midsection, but oh my God, come on now, thick. But Chris Jericho, number 2 runner-up. Number 1 runner-up, Nick Aldis. If it wasn't for him, I don't think the NWA would be anything more than they were 5-6 years ago, as somebody just putting the name on top of a card and saying, here's the NWA champ. Aldis is the real deal, and this is something that somebody missed. Dixie Carter and all those other jokes that were with TNA missed with him. He is a legitimate big guy that can do all your big guy moves, but he can wrestle. And that's the name of the game for NWA.
It is. That's a great point.
And this one, I'm partial. He's my favorite wrestler, Adam Cole. There's just nobody better in the game. He can make anybody look good. He can have a great match, whether it's with your, big guy or a technical wrestler. Inaugural NXT North American Champion. NXT Tag Champion. NXT Champion now. Beaten everybody that there is to beat. And, his promos.
Right.
I'll put him up there, honestly, with Flair and Dusty's heyday for promos with Adam Cole.
Nice. Soup, go ahead.
All right, my second runner-up, I'm a homer here. I'm going to give it to Wardlow. He ran IWC to start 2019. Him and Alexander had wars for 3-4 months. And then he goes out and he gets signed by AEW to end the year, and now he's with a hot star in MJF. Great year for him. I wish him all the best here in the future. My first runner-up, I'm going to give it to Kofi Kingston. Great performer, finally got his due after 11 years. I still think it was a good story, good feel-good story. And it's a shame how the title got taken off of him, and he hasn't been in that picture since. So maybe one day they'll go back to that. But still, I thought he had a great summer into the fall until Lesnar took the belt off of him. And then number 1, I'm going to give it to the best in the world, Shane McMahon. No, I'm just kidding. Chris Jericho. I'm going to give it to Jericho. At his age, how long he's been on TV, everybody knows him. To do a new stick, to reinvent himself, to be the youngest AEW champion in the history of AEW, which is crazy to say. I give it to him. What a great year.
Hey, Soup, I got a question for you. On your pick with Kofi Kingston, do you think, and I agree, I think I'll just be nice, he got screwed over for that asshole Brock Lesnar. We know that Vince McMahon has a hard-on for Lesnar's wife and everything, but around the time, a little bit before Kofi lost his title, Vince came out and said, we're doing away with the time-honored tradition of rematches. And then Kofi loses his title shortly after that. Do you think that was in play so people couldn't bitch about, hey, Kofi deserves a rematch, need to give him a rematch, and that was Vince's way of saying, okay, we're done with the, happy reign, the feel-good moment?
Without a doubt, I think it is.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I agree. I think that was a good point. Just to get it off Vince's ass, kind of. But yeah, like I said, it was a shame how it all happened.
All right, John, go ahead.
All right, a couple of my picks are similar to Soup's. Second runner-up, I have Chris Jericho for all those same reasons. The guy can still go at his age, still has great promos. First runner-up, I'm going to keep it local as well, only I'm going with Dylan Bostic. He had very good matches. He can wrestle anybody. He can just work with anybody. Great technical wrestler, cheats the right way. A lot of fun to watch. And then for me, the wrestler of the year, he had a great title run when you don't really see 6, 7, 8 month runs anymore. So I have to go with Kofi Kingston. It was a feel-good story. He wrestled a great match to win it. It sucked how they took the belt off of him, but I think he probably had the best year of anybody out there.
My three have been said over and over. All 1, A, B, and C. Adam Cole's my number 3. Aldis is my number 2. No disrespect to Jericho, but without Cody creating and bringing us AEW, it's Cody that is having the best year. So
You're right on that. I'll give you that. That's a good point.
yeah, boom. So, all right, we have a couple more minutes. We just went over our awards. Quick. What do you guys? Let's do some predictions for 2020. Chad, go first.
I think the Rock and Roll Express is going to get destroyed by what's those two big?
The Dawsons.
The Dawsons. I think Brock, unfortunately, is going to hold that title till probably SummerSlam, Survivor Series.
And
And
make that a great Survivor Series.
I am hoping and praying that Tessa goes to AEW.
All right, I like 3. There we go. We have 3. Let's go with Stoops 3.
I want to see big things out of Keith Lee. I think eventually he might be the guy to take the belt off Cole. I think Jericho is going to drop the title in 2020. And,
No shit.
And
Who's he going to drop it to? Come on! Nyla Rose? What?
Marco Stunt. I don't know. Anybody.
If that happens, you are getting shot.
Wow. Wow, we're going to be suspended. All right, go ahead.
I could see MJF getting a title reign, possibly here. And then somehow Cody getting involved, somehow earning another title shot, even though everybody says he can't get a shot. I think those two for a title shot would be a great pay-per-view main event. And then I'll say number 3, I think NXT is still going to be the best WWE brand going forward.
Yours were all PC. Get out of here. Go ahead, John.
All right, I've got some bold ones. I think Charlotte and Becky win the tag team championship at some point in 2020. I think Wardlow finally has enough of MJF at some point during 2020. MJF either, I mentioned this to you, Mark, says the wrong thing or takes some liberties in handling him, hits him or something, and Wardlow destroys him. And I think Nick Aldis runs the table through 2020. 1 year from now, he will still be NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
This is awesome because we had not planned this. I think the person going to take the title from Nick Aldis in 2020 is Eli Drake. And I think it's going to be about halfway through the year as he builds up big time. Drake is just so over in NWA right now. So, thanks. That was great to come back from that. Crockett Cup winners is one thing I'm going to predict. It's too much of a feel-good story as they have their 9th tag team championship and they've never won the Crockett Cup. But I think this is the year the Rock and Roll Express wins the Crockett Cup.
I think they retire
Winning
at
the Crockett Cup. Yeah. And
Okay.
and then, I don't know, the one that I've been saying for weeks now, I think you see Cody join the Nightmare Collection here real soon because it's called Nightmare for a reason, and he's the American Nightmare. So, all that being said, guys, what a great year, don't you think? Nobody says anything. Nobody talks.
Absolutely. This has been probably the most exciting year for wrestling, a real wrestling fan, in probably 10, 15 years or more.
30, bro.
Yeah. No, that's not an overstatement at all. Yeah, 10 or 15 years for sure. There's finally some reasonable competition out there. There's some options that have been very good. So, yeah, I would say it's been the best year in a long, long time.
Yeah, you guys are the right age where you guys grew up watching the territories with so many different options. where I am a little younger, where my whole life has mostly just been ran by WWE, it is great to see all these different options, whether it's your locals like IWC, and then AEW coming on mainstream in the whole world, and then still NXT making WWE kind of fresh still. After all these years, it is a great year for wrestling, that's for sure.
Guys, thank you for joining us today here on Can Crushers. Thanks for a great year. So much more to come with Can Crusher Nation in 2020. Some new beginnings right around the corner. I'm excited for that. And some new other stuff later on in the year that we're not going to have spoilers on. But just keep watching. We're growing and we're excited. And without you guys... I couldn't have all this because it's just this is a family. You know, Can Crusher Nation is great. So, happy holidays. And remember, John, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can. Not a garbage can.
Not a garbage cannot.
No, not a garbage cannot. So, duh. All right. Bye, guys. Happy Christmas.
Keep a lookout for your W-2s. January's coming. So W-2s, file your taxes, put your money into wrestling. Thank you.
Hey, and let me give out one thing to you guys. Scott Teal, Crowbar Press, you want to look into the older wrestling at a good alternative to the WWE Network. You're talking $5 for DVDs that have anywhere between 8 and 15 hours of our 80s wrestling and such on them. I got my first shipment in. It's freaking awesome.
I thought you were going to say you got your first shit in a while, but you actually said shipment, so... Merry Christmas.